Hello, Daryl Jones, retired annuitant with Alameda County Fire Prevention. Going over with you a little bit about our report of fire inspections. Just like we did when we were in school, what we want to do is we want to fill the form out from top to bottom, filling every line in accurately. Let's look at the form. As we look at the form, you see it has an address line. You want to print clearly the address numerals and the address name so that it's on the form. Next, you want to make sure the inspection date is there. The occupancy class, those are B, E, F, M, A, that type of thing. The name of whoever the business is. Now, if it's vacant, you put vacant. The phone number of the business that you have available. You notice on the lines there, it talks about no violations noted. If that's correct, you can check that. Now on the upper right-hand portion of the form, there's a couple of specific areas that really need your attention. In Union City, they'll have a first, second, and third attempt. So if the first attempt, don't tear off the form, keep it there. Second attempt, don't tear off the form, keep it there. The third attempt is when you would tear off that form. That way you're able to, on the same form, note that you're on the third attempt. First attempt, you're putting in the date. Second attempt, you're putting in the date. Third attempt, you're putting in the date and leaving the form. For Emeryville, a little bit different. You need the time that you're doing the inspection. The time you're doing an inspection, because it's based on an hourly rate. So you want to make sure that you have that time in. If it's 1400 and you're leaving at 1500, put it on the form right away. Now as you're going down the different violations, take your time. Prior to going out to a business, if any of those violations aren't familiar to you, contact your local fire prevention office. Let them know you'd like a little bit more understanding of what that is. Future videos will also be available to help you with that. Remember in Union City, down at the bottom of the form, they're going to need the square footage. Only Emeryville and Union City have the forms with the extra items up on the upper right-hand corner. When we're talking about using the form line by line, let's look at our fire access and signage. If there is any violation of that, you're going to click that. You're going to check that off. For reference, for the consumer, the CFC or California Fire Code references next to that line for you. If you need to have fire prevention, give you that information. The same with exits. Going down line by line, looking for the violations. The same with fire extinguishers. Line by line, looking for violations. When we get to electrical, we make sure that we're only looking at those specific items. If there's something electrically that you're concerned with, you want to make sure that gets written in on the right of that information where it says notes. If there's something that's a little odd with the electrical system and it really isn't addressed by these three items, write it to the right in the notes. Same with fire resistive construction. If you see something beyond what's listed here on the form, use the notes section on the right to put it down. Fire protection installation. Notice that's one of the more lengthy ones that you're going to see on this fire inspection form. If there's something there beyond what's there, you want to make sure that's on the notes. Housekeeping. We may have our personal viewpoints about how people do things, but we're sticking with what the code says here. If there's something more than that, you'd want to bring that up. Storage is another issue where you're going to frequently find violations, especially in the fourth quarter of the year. That period of time from October well into January, people are doing storage a little bit more, especially in the retail occupancy, than what you might like. Flammable liquids. These are just some of the cues that you're looking at here. If you see something more, use the notes section. Now, when it gets to permits, there's a long list of permits. They're there. You want to make sure you identify the permit that they need to have. If they need to have one for high-piled storage, they need to have one for fuel storage. This is the area that you want to do it down in section 10. Now, a critical element that gets missed is who was the note issued to. If it's vacant, you don't have a name to put in there. You should leave that blank. Once the person tells you their name, you're going to print their name on the left side, bottom of the form, and allow them to sign on the right side. The reason you're printing the name is so you can read it if there's a question. Below that, it's you that's the one that's inspecting it. So you print your name and the date. You should not be putting your engine or truck company. You should be identifying yourself by name. If you want to put your shift after your name, that's fine. We want to use the most current form. On the bottom right of the form, the current ones at this date were made in January of 2023. So if you have any of the old forms there, just go on and toss them. Recycle them in some way. It's critical that you get the responsible signature on the form. If you're not able to get it because the place is vacant, then they can't be charged for that inspection.